So, after the situation with the clothes moving and dancing around with nobody in them, um, I can remember being in that same neighborhood because I was having like sleep paralysis attacks like every night. Um, Now, keep in mind that my father was a drug addict. He was hooked on crack cocaine, and he was very abusive. Um, and a lot of his rage was aimed towards me. I am the oldest of my siblings. I have a sister who is the middle child, and then we had we have a baby brother. He's deceased now, but my brother, I can never remember him ever catching a whooping or being punished by my daddy. And for the most part, I always try to protect my sister from him because he was just vicious in the way that he whooped us, in the way that he whooped me. He had a leather belt with his name written on it. And he used that belt um, to basically beat me with it. Um, and and I want to say that he is no longer a drug addict. He's been clean for over 15 years now, and we have a good relationship. But back then, when I was a child, I had a lot of HATE in my heart for him. So I already had that. I feel like I already had that negativity within me from um, enduring his abuse. Now, I want to say that my mother had a lot of siblings. She had a lot of sisters and brothers, and we were raised with a lot of love around us. My auntie and my uncles, they loved us so much. My grandmother, we spent a lot of time with our family and little cousins, but within our house, um, I endured a lot from my daddy. Um, so I said that to say that I think that I was the main focus from whatever it was that my older cousin had let in when she did that ritual or whatever it was, because I had already opened myself up, I guess, with my feelings towards my daddy to darkness because I really had a deep hatred towards him at that time. So, another instance of supernatural stuff happening to me besides the sleep paralysis, which happened so much, was I can remember um, all of the little cousins, all of us, all of my sister, my brother, all of our little cousins, all of our older cousins. Um, I have an uncle who is like maybe 7 years older than me, or something like that. Um, so we were raised as like cousins or sister and brother, but he's my uncle. Um, all of us like stayed at my grandmother's house, and what we would do was everybody would just pretty much sleep in the front room, wherever you could find somewhere to sleep. So it would be like cousins laid out on the couches, cousins laid out on the floor, on a little pallet, and that's just where we slept at when we all gathered at my grandmother's house. And I remember this one night in particular. I was on the couch. I had somebody else who was sleeping on the other end of the couch that I was sleeping on. And everybody else was like pretty much sprawled around on the love seat and then all over the floor. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night. I looked at the TV, and there was a women wrestling, like WWF or whatever it's called, match going on the TV. And out the corner of my eye, I saw um, somebody, what I thought was somebody. And so I turned and I looked, and it was a long hallway. The long hallway led to other bedrooms at my grandmother's house. And when I looked, it looked like my little cousin. His name is Roderick. We called him Chinaman, but I looked down that hallway, and what I saw was him. Had on the same blue jean overalls that he had on. Looked like him for the most part. Um, and it, it, its its back was to me, and it was walking down the hallway. But when I looked at it, it turned around and looked at me and did like the come here. Didn't say a word, just did that. And I'm thinking that, okay, it's my little cousin. He want to show me something. So I was getting up off the couch to go with him. But I had to watch where I was stepping at because, like I said, it had other kids that was laid out like on the floor. And when I looked to see where I was stepping at, I actually seen my actual real cousin on the floor, sleep, with the same overalls on, same haircut. And I jumped back on the couch, and I just remember pulling the cover all the way over my head. And I stayed like that. Um, I stayed like that till morning. I can remember when I was a kid, my friend girl and I, um, we were in the same neighborhood, and we were walking home, and there was like a big field that you had to walk through to get from one side of the neighborhood to the other side of the neighborhood. And when we finally had made it to our side of the neighborhood, because we lived in like the same area, the same apartment complex, the same little block rather, um, we saw head, a floating head in one of the cars that was out there in that parking lot. And it did like a 360-degree turn and looked at us. And her and I just both, we took off running. We just ran so fast. I think we even ran in different directions. She ran to her house, I ran to mine. We never talked about it again. As a matter of fact, I think for like the next couple of days after then, she didn't even come outside. Um, but I thank God, I thank Jesus Christ so much because listen, oh, it's so much power in the name Jesus. There's so much power in Father God in heaven. Jesus really saved me. Now I want y'all to understand this video is about to run out, and I'm gonna make more videos with more things that had happened to me and things that I experienced. But I gotta go to sleep because I gotta go to work in the morning. So stay tuned. But I want y'all to know that Jesus Christ in heaven, there's power. There's authority in that name. There is so much power in prayer. And I didn't know that for decades. I got that. I knew it, but I didn't know it. It took me decades to 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 get God in my heart, to get Jesus Christ, you know. Um, man, there's more to come, but I've got to go to sleep. I got to go to work.